Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
That's what I tell 'em. I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. Hot or cold, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles, compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles, go take care of your business. Success Chronicles, it's deeper than just winning. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with another episode of the Success Chronicles, and I'm so excited to have Coach Jonathan Petty on with us, a great guy that's been blessed and fortunate to achieve some cool things and doing lots to give back in a major way. So I'm so excited to have him on and highlight him and his journey. So first, Coach, thanks so much for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles.
I appreciate you, Coach, for having me on, man. It's a pretty quick turnaround from you coming on campus and talking to the team to us sitting here. So thankful for the opportunity.
Yes, sir. Hey, I'll put it like this. It's always a treat when the good guys get to meet. How about that?
Hey, you know what? Note takers are world changers. I need to write that down.
Let's go. Let's go. Well, if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about, share your journey and who you are so the audience will have an idea of who you are and what it is you do.
Well, first and foremost, man, again, my name is Jonathan Petty. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. Born and raised. Grew up on the east side of San Antonio. My parents, pastors. Dad's been a pastor since '96. My mom's helped him in the ministry as well as a lot of nonprofit work that she does. She's out in the community pretty routinely. My dad, again, they've been pastors in ministry at Bethel International Christian Fellowship since 1996. So, born in a house where I think you talked about it when you came and talked to the team. But I grew up around some church folk, so
Come on.
I always got a chance to get connected and be around believers. That I'd say that's a big part of my upbringing. And just the morals, the characters, the characteristics, and the disciplines and things like that were taught early. Like I said, went to school in SAISD, inner city San Antonio. Every big major city has its inner city school, so we know what those struggles come with. But I got a chance moving into seventh grade to move to the northeast side of town. My dad was able to, get a chance to move us to a little bit of a better area. And we went from being the only house on the block on the east side that had both parents to now, and I get to a new area. For the most part, a lot of folks had both parents in the household, a lot of military folks. So got a chance to see life from a different perspective. I'm thankful and blessed that I was given that opportunity along with my brother. My parents provided that opportunity for us to just see that there was something different than what our environment was growing up and what we saw. So thankful for that. And then from there, played football at Judson High School under Coach Rackley. A lot was learned in those moments there that drove me to where I'm at now. And I went to college at Hardin-Simmons University, played 4.5 years there, redshirted, and then finished playing. Once I finished there, went to grad school, became a grad assistant coach, and now we're here. So that's a pretty brief, tell me about your story. But along those lines, I'd say a lot of perseverance had to be show, intestinal fortitude, being able to, adapt in different environments, different cultures. I went to 3 elementaries, 2 middle schools. So it's always being able to kind of get in and fit in and figure out, what the lay of the land is and then kind of move from there. So I think one of the things that I pride myself on is being able to adapt to in different environments. And I think my upbringing definitely lent a hand in that.
I love that. And I'm appreciative that you shared your background and your journey, which is the foundation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we have that firm foundation, we can build upon it. That solid foundation, and it's cool
Yes,
to
sir.
see. It's cool to see, or hear, the things that you've been blessed to grow through,
Mm-hmm.
in your life that's put you where you are. And I believe, and just being around you, just seeing, how you operate, how you do things, how you treat people, just being around you, I think it's a blessing when we can take those things that we've learned from those great people in our life and use those to be a blessing to others.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what are three things you've accomplished in your life that you're proud of?
Three things. I would say first, and kind of this is kind of more chronological order with from college up until now.
Hmm.
But I'd say the first thing, and it's a bunch of different points that led to this moment, but was I'd say the first thing was being selected as a team captain when I was in college for 2 years. But more importantly, that first year when I was a redshirt junior, I thought that was one of the cooler moments from a standpoint of, man, your peers respect what you do, how you work, how you do things, and they respect you enough to vote you as a guy that they want to represent them. Whatever that might look like, whether that's conversations with the head coach as a leadership council member, just being a guy that walks out there and set the tone early with coin tosses, just being able to be an ambassador of the program. I think from what kind of how my college career started to being able to get to a point where my teammates, voted me as a captain. I take a lot of pride in that. It's probably my biggest accomplishment, I'd say, as a player. You know, games are won. You have big games, bad games, but as a guy that was voted captain, I think that was the most meaningful thing in my college career that I'd say. So that'd be one. Moving down the path a little bit, I'd say it's getting my master's degree. Can't get the master's without the bachelor's. So that's
Hmm.
all that encompasses. That's all encompassing there. But I think some of the bigger things, it's not about just getting the master's, but it was the journey that kind of led me to getting that. There was a lot of favor that was involved on behalf of the university, on behalf of some of the deans and things like that of the college that I ended up getting my master's at, which was in counseling and human development. So something that I get to use daily with the players and just life in general. But I
Yeah.
went through a lot of ups and downs during that time. Friends passing, um, grad school as a Division III GA, you get $1,100 a month. At the beginning of the semester, you're told, hey, this is what you get, and figure it out. So, learning really from freshman year of college all the way up until that point, I had been cutting hair in for 6 years. So I was a team barber. Became a kind of a local barber in the city that was unlicensed. Then I was also working at TJ Maxx. I had my
Figure it
hands in a
out.
lot to try to make it work and figured it out. And I had a lot of coaches that you know gave me opportunities to make sure that I could be around. And whether that's for hey man, we got this job coming up, or here's a chance to make some money, or just keeping me in the know so that they could try to help me as best as they could. And so I'd say getting my master's, and that was big time. I think about the bachelor's, I was really more so wanting to get from my parents and really didn't know what I wanted to do with it. But the master's, I was a lot more focused in my thought and where I kind of what I wanted to do. And
Yeah.
at that point, it was like, well, this master's in counseling human development is going to be good. When I mixed that, from a micro level with my bachelor in my undergrad bachelor, which was in business management, I feel like I had a really good grasp on how to apply a lot of things that I learned from it one-on-one, the interpersonal things from the counseling side, over into being able to utilize that within an organization like a football program, and
Yeah.
how the people make up the organization. And if you can understand the people, you can understand the organization. So, that I'd say was big. And then the next one was really getting my first full-time job. I GA'd for 2 years at Hardin-Simmons. Volunteered another year because I didn't really wasn't in the position where I wanted to go to high school just yet. So I volunteered a year, did that for free. And 7 months or 8 months later, in I think spring of 2017 of April, I think April 4th is when I got my the call up from the head coach, Coach Burleson. He let me know that he was going to be promoting me from within. And that was huge for me because for that time, it was a long 3.5 years of just grinding, working, people questioning my plan and wondering why I just wouldn't go get a high school job. And, I felt like, there was some favor where I was at. I wanted to stick around and stay, and God made a way. because of that moment and just being prepared and being available, I've been able to do some good things and continue to impact other people.
Man, just something I want to go back on that you kind of hit on. You talked about like having favor, right? Like you said that word like 3 or 4 times. And I don't know if you realize you did that, but I want to kind of just go back on it. But man, I believe that when you prove and show that you're committed to something, like you said, that second year that you were there, like you did it for free because you were trying to get in and just help and be of service. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe that, man, when you do those things and you commit, I think the big man will always see fit to take care of you and put people around you that will always help you in those situations because they know your heart.
Right. Right. No, I that's part of it. I hate to kind of speed through it so much, but there's so many people along that the road from becoming a GA in 2014 and
Yeah.
to full time in 2017. There's so many people that helped. Coach Alan Waters, long time coach at Hardin-Simmons. He's a legend. Does a lot, especially in the West Texas area. With air it out football camps and things like that. I mean, he's coached a lot of really good players and guys that household names. But heck, he had a bunch of rent houses in Abilene and was allowed me to live in one of them when I was a grad student, just to make it a little bit easier for me as opposed to having to pay rent in an apartment.
So
Like I said, Coach Burleson, helping always just kind of keep me in the loop on what was going on and things that I could potentially find myself, a chance to make some money at. Dr. Bob, who was the dean over the College of Counseling, he always was able to, hey, John, here's an opportunity for extra scholarship, or hey, if you come do this, we can find a way to get you paid. So, along those lines, and then even the people that on a short notice, I wanted to get into grad school. Heck, I went out to Abilene on a Thursday during camp to watch a Friday scrimmage during fall camp. I actually wasn't even involved with the first week of fall camp. I was just back at home and got a unction to drive up and see my guys. Fall camp. I was irritated at work and said, man, I need to just get out here and see some people and get back into an environment that I'm used to. And went out there on a Thursday. My head coach, Coach Burleson, said, hey, I want you to go meet with Dr. Bob. I didn't know what it was about,
hmm,
but I go meet with him and I sit down in Dr. Bob's office, and Dr. Bob has a manila folder, and he opens a manila folder up and he's got all my school documents, all kind of information
wow.
on me. And I'm sitting there, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I thought I was here to meet you. He pours out, he talks about, my resume and just kind of my journey at Hardin-Simmons. And he says, well, man, look, I got these 3 letters of recommendation. If you just go get these signed by tomorrow, we can get you in grad school by Monday. I'm like, man, I came out here to watch a fall camp scrimmage, and I was planning on going
Let's
back home and,
go.
and being at Gold's Gym folding towels on Monday morning. I got a chance to get those 3 letters of recommendation in through some professors I had in the business building, in the College of Business that I knew for 4 or 5 years and built relationships with, and they were excited to be able to get that done for me in such a short turnaround. And I mean, I had to call my mom that Saturday and tell her I wasn't coming back home. I needed her to send me some clothes. I ended up I was in grad school in like 3 days. Didn't have to take a GRE. They made a way for me. So that's some of the favor right there. And a lot of it is because of the relationship that were built, prior to that. And, just being able to cultivate and do right with the relationships that you make. So, there's a lot of people now. I miss so many other names, but there's a lot of names. Chris Jones, he's the defensive line coach at UTEP right now. He's one of my big brothers and mentors in this program, in this profession. So, he's been instrumental in almost every job that I've gotten, if not every one of them, because he's a champion for me. And I think that's, huge when you have people in your corner that will stand up on the table for you. And he's one of those people. And again, there's a lot more, but it's a favor, man. Is a blessing, and sometimes you don't feel like God is watching, but He is, and at the moment when you least expect it is when He shows up. So I've been blessed for sure.
So good, man. Well, just hearing you talk about your journey, hearing you talk about the things you're proud of, I would consider that to be hugely successful. So let's hit on success. What's your definition of success?
Man, you know what's funny is this. I think success, the definition kind of changes as you grow up and mature. And if you asked me this question when I was 22, it'd be a different answer than when I was 25 and 28, and now 33. I think it's evolved to being just in service, and I want to make sure that um, I'm walking in God's will. I think in His purpose. I think for whatever that purpose is for me, that God has, which I believe is serving people. I've seen that throughout my life. My dad, again, as a pastor, has been a shepherd. I had a lot of great men of God that were around me, and seeing them serve in all type of capacities. And I think that for me is just walking in God's purpose. And I think right now that's just serving people, and right now serving young men, because I know what it was like growing up on the east side of San Antonio. We didn't have college guys coming to my elementary, didn't have college guys coming to my middle school. Being able to, when I, go back home to San Antonio, and I'm able to go into some of the high schools that I would have been zoned to or potentially zoned to, or some of the areas where I did hang out, and, across the street from the high schools that I'm at, or some of the middle schools that I went to. So it was just cool to see, like, man, I'm back being able to impact the area that gave to me. So I want to try to be able to, provide opportunities for others to be able to see that there's something different, and then go out and achieve something great, so we can then go back into that same community and keep the cycle going of just let's go out, let's learn, let's see what we can learn, let's go give it back, let's pull the next generation along. So I'd say serving people, man, is success for me, because again, God's blessed me with so much. I want to make sure that I can be a blessing to some other people at the end of the day.
Boy, that is so good. Um, I mean, that is so good. Like I'm here, just listen to you like talk your journey and your story, and it makes me reflect too, about the similarities in our stories, right? As far as the faith background and being taught, all of those things of principles. And it's crazy how sometimes we don't realize we're being taught all of those things that we see.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like the service piece, the understanding is bigger than us.
Mm-hmm.
All of those things that we see from the people that we love that are pouring into us. But then it's a whole, striving to be of service to others. We see those things, but it brings a whole nother level to it when we're able to apply those things in our life, and then we see those things be beneficial in our life in helping others. Man, let's
Right.
just kind of talk on that a little bit if you don't mind.
Man, I think for me, man, the biggest thing is, and a lot of my friends and I that I've grown up with, we're all connected. It's funny, a lot of us are still connected to the game some way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that uh, knowledge of us understanding that we have a opportunity to still do and be around a game that a lot of people, wish that they can be around. We want
Yeah.
to be able to, we're in so many locker rooms, you're around so many people. It's our responsibility at some point to be able to go and try to pull forward the next group, because somebody did that for us. And you got to pave the way because somebody paved it for you. And I think it'd be selfish to get somewhere, and I'm on a journey, and I'm only thinking about myself, because there's so many other
Yeah.
people that have poured into me, that have invested in me, and you want to make those people right, to prove those people right. And I was a person that grew up and always looking for chips on my shoulder, and still am, sometimes to a fault. I take everything personally, and it's what's gotten me where I'm at, because I'm like, okay, you don't think I'm good enough, or all
Yeah.
right, I'm not smart enough. Oh, okay, I
I'll
was a
show you.
D3 GA, or I played a D3. I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Y'all told me I'm not going to be D1, or you told me I'm not going to make it here. And even my journey through elementary, middle school, it's like, man, I'm catching via buses to school, and as a 12, 11-year-old kid. Not a yellow, yellow bus, it's a Via bus. So, all those things, and people saying, hey, you're from this side of town, this is where you're going to always be. Or, we just want to continue to pull people forward, man, and change the narrative. And one is by making great choices and trying to live our life in a way that is pleasing to God. And
Yeah.
then also, just being, around and available for people to use as a resource, because that's ultimately, again, what it comes back to is, how much can we give back?
That's so good. Now I know, off air we had mentioned about, just sharing a story that taught a life lesson, but man, I think the things that we've hit on have been pretty good. And I think, the whole service piece, I love that, uh, learning and growing, and then like the favor of your commitment, having favor from your commitments. Um, man, I think that's priceless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so maybe we can hit on that too. Like just commitment. Like if I give you the word commitment, let's just talk about that a little bit.
Man, that it's funny because when you talk about commitment, man, I just think back to like when I was in grad school or when I was in undergrad, and it's like some of the time or the times where we say out loud, we got to be careful what we say, right? There's life and death in the tongue. But
Yeah.
you say something and you say you want something, and if it's in alignment with what God has, I always feel like God's gonna say, okay, you say you want this, we're gonna see how bad you really want it. And there's going to be a lot of tests along the way, but those tests are preparing us for when we have or when we're in that moment. And man, I've been tested so much, and some of it, a lot of it, due to my own ignorance
Yeah.
or just negligence, and just like, well,
Yeah.
I know better, but I'm gonna go do
Yeah.
put my finger in the socket anyway, even though
Yeah.
I know better.
Yeah.
But it's been a blessing, man. I think the commitments that that were made and the sacrifices that were made early, I'm glad that I made them and that I had people that were around me so that they could potentially help me in those scenarios. I mean, um, like I said, man, to the house that I was living in for my 3 years as a GA and 2 years as a young coach, making $38,000 a year, man. I didn't have central AC, didn't have central heat, no insulation. So whatever it felt like outside is what it felt like inside. And during the winters, I had a space heater in my room, and you going to sleep
Yeah.
with hoodies and sweatpants and socks and
Come on,
a
man.
beanie on. So it's like, in the summertime, everybody's the front door, back door open. We got fans blowing. I mean, but it was what it needed to be, and it taught me, one, the understanding of, man, less is more. This is what I have. I can get what I need done. I can get to point A to point B. And it said, hey, how bad do you really want to do this coaching thing? Because I turned down a couple opportunities high school wise to stay that final year as a volunteer, but ended up paying off. And again, I think that commitment, it didn't just start in 2014 when I was a grad assistant. It started back, when I was at Judson and learning Rocket Pride and learning how not to drop the rope, and getting up off that mat after doing a forward roll, backward roll, having a sprint
Oh,
down, lay out, and then get up on that fence and tap off at the top. So, just being held accountable, man. When you're committed, man, I think your disciplines and your actions and routines align themselves up to show how committed you are. So, guys like Coach Bob Fellow, man, he helped me a lot along the lines of just understanding what commitment is and what it actually looks like. And again, those are, if you're committed, I feel like God is always going to say, okay, if you're committed to it, we're going to see. I'm going to test you, and I'm going to test you to see if you break it and you quit before you trust that I'm going to make a way. So that's the hardest thing for me. Is just getting out of God's way, and I think trusting God is an everyday deal where you got to pick up your cross every day. So I'm just trying to walk in God's favor. And again, like I said, I know I'm a stumble, but being a leader is just not being afraid to fail in front of others. So at some point, just got to keep putting that foot in front of the other and keep on moving down the path.
Well, that's awesome. Well, as we close, I'd love for you to get an opportunity to share with the audience where they can follow you and check you out and show you some love with all the amazing things you have going on.
All right, well, again, you guys can follow me. I only have Twitter. It's Coach Petty Petty _. That's where you can find me. Any updates? What's going on with Houston Christian football? Any updates with what we have camps coming up in July? Excuse me, June and July. So get yourself signed up. We have a big showcase coming up, and then again, all things Jonathan Petty and HCU football will be on that page. So again, go give me a follow at Coach Petty Coach Petty _. And then give our team page a follow at HCU football as well.
There it is with Coach, man. I just want to say thanks so much again for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles. Truly appreciate it, and I wish you continued success.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate the platform and looking forward to continuing to see the things that you're doing.
Yes, sir. And thank you guys for checking out this episode. We'll see you next time. God bless. Go get it.